From Super League to Olympic distance to age group world records to Kona. Go longer with the right fuel at the right time with SFuels.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful St. George. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spa, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, HOKA, Let's Fly, SFuels Go Longer, Biostarks.com, use the code BWB10 for a 10% discount, Quintanaroo, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zions Bank, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, 5 Ironman championships over the years, 5 sub-8s, and just coming off of a win at Ironman Wisconsin at the young age of 42. Is it 42?
Yeah, 42 now.
Nice. How you doing, Brent McMahon? Good to see you again.
Likewise. Thanks for having me back, as always.
Always enjoy chatting with you, and it feels like we've spent some quality time together because I was doing the commentating for Ironman Wisconsin, and usually we like it. People go back and forth, and this guy takes the lead. You got you in the race. Got Ben Hoffman. We got Andy Potts. You took the lead like 12 seconds into the swim, and then it was you and I for basically, and Matt Lieto chatting.
Yeah, it's good friends. You know, we were just hanging out for 8 hours or so.
In the pouring rain.
Yeah.
Now that was your weather.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, rain and cold, that's, you know, being from Canada, that's kind of what we get for winter is rain and cold, so where I'm from. It
was funny watching Ben Hoffman, who I think was in Tucson 2 days before with 95 degrees. Yeah. And then that day was 55. He lost 40 degrees.
Yeah, not what he was training for.
You could see, he's training for Kona. You could feel his hypothermia through the TV screen.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So when it's weather like that, do you look at it and go, all right, let's bring it on. This is good for me.
Yeah, like I've always liked tough races, and you know that's why I chose Wisconsin, partly because it was a tough course, and everybody said it was, you know, it's an honest course, and everybody has to work hard, and so I was excited to do that race just because it was hard. But then you throw wet, cold conditions, and then you know it's like, all right, it's just harder, and everybody has to do it, right? And so you know, for me, that's always just, you know, the challenges are put in front of you, and you just choose to overcome them, or you're not.
Right, and this race is one of those type of races that suits you. Obviously, you've been here 5 times. You've won in 2013, second in 14 and 15, fifth in 16, and 6th and 17. So you like this course? Yeah,
I've been here a few times, and I keep coming back because it's a beautiful place, but it's also it's just a really honest, tough course, and it's gone through evolution over that time, and the bike course is definitely a lot smoother than it used to be with all the building around here. You know, the roads have gotten paved.
Yes. So this used to be more chip and seal type of stuff.
Yeah,
it was not good.
No, but again, that was just part of it. That was just the toughness of it. So, and then they always come up with a tough run course here, and it's always changing, but it's always tough.
It's always gonna be tough. You know, they say, we've taken some of the hills out. I'm like, yeah, but you added other ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What got you into the sport to begin with?
Too much energy.
You were one of those kids who just hyper, you got to do something.
Yeah, exactly. I was just in lots of sports as a kid, and my parents just, whatever I wanted to do, they put me in it, and off I went. So, you know, it was just a matter of, you know, swimming, biking, and running, which I already did, and putting them together. And, and then I met my coach, Lance Watson, 25 years ago now.
I mean, because you think about over the years, most people, you always have, he was a great coach and got me to this level, and now I need that coach to get me to. You've stayed with the same coach the entire time. Yeah,
I've stayed with the same coach, but I've also changed sports of triathlon as well. You know, I did 2 Olympics. Yeah. I did, you know, Xterra racing. I did super sprint racing. Now I'm doing half an Ironman.
Right.
You know, so I've evolved as an athlete, and he's evolved as a coach and adapted. And I think that's why we stayed together so long, was because he didn't just have, this is my way of coaching for this triathlon.
Right.
It's always been learning for him and learning for me, and how can we improve, and okay, we're doing this, so what do we need to change? And so our program has changed a lot over 25 years.
It has to.
And he's adapted. And so, you know, if you find a good coach and you find a good relationship, then that coach should adapt and should tailor what you need to be good at whatever it is you're doing.
Well, and when you start talking about, it's not just triathlon. You're talking about off-road triathlon. You're talking about Olympic, and under the Olympic program, they've added the mixed relay, and they've got the sprint distance, and there's so many different distances. So he had to learn along the way, because he might have had some expertise in terms of the Olympic format. But then when you say, "Well, I'm going to go longer, I'm going to go off-road," he's got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, he's got to research. He's got to talk to other coaches, and that's the thing. If you're a good coach and a good mentor, and you're respected, that means you can go to other coaches that respect you, and they have that conversation of, okay, well, how did you get your guy ready for Xterra, or how did you get your guy ready for an Ironman, and so they put their brains together and come up with better ways of doing things.
Right.
And so, I think you see the best athletes work with some of the best coaches, and those coaches have worked with lots of different athletes.
Yes.
So their skill set is more diversified.
So this year in 2022, 14th Clash Miami, 25th Canadian Open, and 8th at 70.3 miles per mile. Have you been healthy most of this year, or what's been happening with? It's just in terms of you're 42 years old. How have you had to adapt to age? And when you're doing the Canadian Open, I mean, you're going with you're getting with the old Olympic guys stepping up,
going backwards to the Olympic style racing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's going back to your roots.
Yeah.
But there's some fast people out there.
Yeah, totally, and young, and
Yes.
and they have that anaerobic capacity, and so the shorter the distance, just the more horsepower they have, and the more of that type of training you need to do for a shorter distance. You got to do a lot more threshold work, and you got a lot more high intensity stuff, and as I've gotten older and matured as an athlete, that kind of work it's not necessarily harder to do, but it takes more out of me, and it takes me longer to recover. And so I just can't do as much of it. And so that means the choice of what work you do has to be very specific. And I'm still very focused on Ironman, and obviously winning in Wisconsin. That
Get you to Kona.
That's the key. Is I did what I needed to get ready for an Ironman and get me to Kona. And so I'm all set for Kona next year, and so I can just take the whole year to plan my racing. And so this year was a little bit of getting healthy. I had a couple of little nigglies
I know you were dealing with injuries.
Yeah, and so those finally got sort of settled, and that's kind of right when I was trying to decide, okay, which Ironman am I going to do?
Right.
And I ended up getting COVID, and so I was going to do Mont Tremblant and see about getting my spot for Kona this year. But I got COVID after the PTO Edmonton race, and so that was a little frustrating, but it is what it is, and I've had lots of those things in my career, and so you just go, okay, that's what's
plan B?
What's the next plan? Okay,
Exactly.
so I took 2 weeks off, and I didn't get too sick, but I was fairly sick for a few days, and the main thing was I don't want it to stay with me.
No.
And so I just took the time to recover, and then I put the time into getting ready for Wisconsin, and I was like, okay, well, I am fit, so let's put in a really good block, and let's go and try and win Wisconsin and get to Kona.
Well, and so when was the last time you won an Ironman?
It would have been 2018 at Ironman Canada.
So it had to feel pretty good.
Yeah. It's been a little while, and
Yeah.
it felt really good for a lot of reasons. I've had a lot of ups and downs. For obviously everybody has with COVID, but as you're getting towards the end of your career and you're getting mature and you're thinking about what the next stage is, and so I was watching years kind of go away when I really wished I could have been racing.
You couldn't be racing in
with
2021.
COVID, yeah. And so I'm getting older, and these young guys are just getting faster, and there's getting to be more young guys, and so I've really felt like I'm missing some of my last really good years, and so mentally it was really hard, and I went through some ups and downs.
Of course.
I got through it, and that's where Wisconsin was. It was great to win the race, but it was just so good to validate to myself that I still have it. I still have the ability to do the work to get me to winning form, and so that allows me now to look at next year and go, yeah, I can still do the work. I can still get in that top form that's going to put me at the front of the race. And, so I'm excited for Kona next year.
Well, and it's interesting because I've covered a lot of older athletes, Rod Dixon, a lot of the runners, and they would say, hey, I can do the same workouts that I did when I was younger. I just need to take more time off in between.
Yeah.
I can't go to the well 2-3 days in a row.
Yeah.
And that was really, it sort of surprised them that they could still do the speed work that they used to do.
Yeah.
But there was the other side of that was they had to allow real recovery.
Yeah. And as you get older, you're logging more years as well.
Yes.
And so to a certain extent, you don't need to do the same amount of work.
Because your body understands it.
Yeah, and there's just that muscle memory, and there's that ability to, remember, okay, like this is how we get efficient, and this is how we get strong, and so to get back in shape is usually quicker, and and this to build strength, and it's just all those pathways are there, and so you can kind of find that balance of doing the right work but not too much.
I've never felt that you've had your Kona race, that you've had the race that your training and just the way you've raced over the years. You haven't had what I consider would be a Brent McMahon A race in Kona. You agree?
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's part of the reason why I'm still racing and why I decided I would really like to go back to Kona one more time. And I don't know if I'll get as strong and as fast as I have been, but I think I can execute a better race in Kona than I have ever in the past.
Right.
And and so I've obviously had lots of years to think about it and go, what did I do wrong? And I have a 9th place, and I did some things really well there, but I did, my nutrition and stuff just didn't go as it needed to, and so my run just wasn't anywhere near what I was capable of. So I've spent 4 years thinking about that and go, how do I fix that, and how do I get it right? And so I'm really like, okay, I know what I want to do, and I know I have to stick to it. And watching the race this year was fun because I'd already qualified, so I knew I was going. So it wasn't like I was watching the race going, okay, I can't wait to get back there. I was watching the race going, I'm going to be back there. And so, okay,
what can I learn?
What am I going to learn? Okay, these guys are doing this, and okay, yeah. So this is where I'll want to be, and and so now my training is just going to be, okay, that's the format, and that's how it played out. So that's where I want to be.
Well, and you were one of the first guys to start going to Maui to train leading in, and now Braden Curry and Daniela Reef and all of you people out there.
Don't tell everybody. Don't tell everybody.
There's nobody watching. It's just you and I and Gaff. The three of us are just sitting here. Nobody's watching the show. So, but there's something special about that place. I mean, it's funny. Every photo that Braden Curry posted, I'm like, I don't see any traffic out there. That looks beautiful.
Yeah, no, Maui is fantastic. I've been going there for, I think, 16 years now.
I was going to say, almost 2 decades. Out there,
and I just love it. I'm well set up there. I have a friend that I live with, and I've got wheels and bikes and parts and everything there. So
you don't have to worry about bringing anything.
Yeah, I just show up and got a place. He's actually coming into town to watch this race.
Oh, cool.
And, so Aaron's just been such a long time awesome friend, and he's just supported me every Kona. He's there, and he's like, all right, let's get the camp ready. And so I always base out of Maui, and then I just fly over. Yeah,
and you're on the same time zone. Yep. You got the food. It's perfect.
It's such a good setup.
Being here at 70.3 Worlds, we've got obviously Gustav's 2-time defending champion, Christian. These guys are at a level that we really haven't seen, especially what happened in Kona. When you go into this race, and really you're more of a specialist of the longer distance now, what are you looking to take away from this one?
I just want to, again, it comes down to just executing a good race.
Yeah.
I can only do what I can do to get in shape and get as fit as I can. And the guys I'm racing, I can't do anything about.
No, you really can't.
I just got to go out and do my best race and just make sure I do my plan. And Obviously 70.3 is a little bit different. There is a little bit more sparring and back and forth and stuff. Whereas an Ironman, you can really, spend more focus on, okay, what do I just need to do and what can I stick to? So here it's going to, and this is such a dynamic course as well.
Right.
There's lots of hills and downhills, and there's a big climb near the end, and so you're going to see lots of guys going backwards and forwards and movement, and then 2 laps on the run. Guys have tired Kona legs, so you don't know how those hills are going to play out, and so it's going to be a really interesting and exciting race, because I think there's going to be lots of movement and lots of unexpected racing and some expected racing, but it's going to be pretty cool.
When you have a hilly run course, a lot of stuff can happen.
Totally.
So you must have been thinking when you first got into the longer distance. First time you do an Ironman, you go to Arizona, you break 8 hours. You're like, oh,
it's easy.
What the hell? This is top
easy.
limit. It's no big deal. I should have been doing this. Why was I wasting my time on this Olympic stuff?
Yeah,
this stuff
totally.
is really. I mean, what was it about that longer distance that really suited you so well?
Well, the beauty of, again, working with the same coach for a long time is he coached long course athletes during the time that he was coaching me through the Olympics. And so he always knew and identified, and we talked about it lots during my Olympic career, is, you're going to be really good at long course racing, just how you train and, how your fitness builds and your way of racing. We knew all along. And so it was a matter of, well, when do I want to make that switch? And as a child, you grow up with dreams and hopes, and one of those was competing at the Olympics for me. And so that happened firstly in Athens in 2004. But then I was injured in Athens, and I just didn't race the way I wanted to race, and so it was like, okay, well, let's go in the next cycle, and Beijing, and I earned a spot, but then I wasn't selected to the team, and so then it's like, okay, do I go another 4 years or am I done with my Olympic journey? And so I decided, and my Coach Lance and partner Carolyn and my family and sponsors, they all decided with me, whatever you want to do. And so I did decide I wanted to go through to the London Olympics, but there was a very hard stop there. That was like that was it.
Whatever happened there, I'm moving on from there.
We're all in. However, between, having not been selected to Beijing, it gave me the opportunity to go and do some other stuff in that kind of 1 year and a half post-Olympics. And so I went and did some long course racing. I did some non-draft racing. I did the race to the Toyota Cup.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
So did Chicago and LA and the Lifetime races. And so got to do some non-drafting racing and then sort of see, okay, I've got a skill set here, and got a couple podiums at the Olympic distance non-draft, and then I went and did Corner Brook 70.3, and that was a bit of eventful stuff going on around there. So I actually didn't finish that race, but then my very next 70.3 was New Orleans in 2009, and I won that. And it wasn't like I found a race. It was like Chris Lieto and Chris McCormick, and the big names were there, and so to go up into that new realm and beat some of those big time guys was kind of just that was that little bit of check mark saying, okay, I
belong.
I'm going to be able to do this, but it allowed me to then go, okay, London is where I want to go, but I know my path afterwards.
Yes,
and it just gave me the confidence that, okay,
get through London, enjoy it. Have the full-on Olympic experience with one of the best Olympics. London was
definitely
unbelievable.
And
then move on. And look what you've done since, man. It's been great. Hey, thanks so much for taking time. Always great to catch up, and it was great spending time with you in Wisconsin. I'm just glad I wasn't anywhere near you on the bike, freezing my butt off.
I'm glad you guys. I'm glad somebody was warm that day.
I would have brought fenders.
So,
I was wondering. You're Canadian. I can't believe you're out riding without fenders. What were you thinking?
Well, that's how it goes.
I love it. Hey, good luck this weekend.
Thanks very much.
Brent McMahon has been our guest. Again, Breakfast with Bob. Hold on. We'll be right back.